I donated $500 to Pokemon today. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for sharing. I'm sure this is very difficult for you to come out and admit that. All right. Welcome back to Shitposting with the Lads. I'm your host for this week, Skylar, and once again I'm joined by the lovely Michael and Tiger.
Hey guys.
Hello.
As always, we'll be giving a quick recap of our week. Michael, you want to start us off?
Okay, so this week was quite a big week for me. A lot of stuff happened. So it's basically since the start of last episode, I finished with the manga chapter that I finished or translating that I've been working on for like a while. And one of my first manga chapters just hit 100,000 views, which is pretty big.
Oh, nice. Dude, that's huge.
Yeah, 100,000 is really big because if you compare it to like basically all of the popular series, like only the most popular will ever reach that level. But looking at concurrent viewers, we're probably only going to get around like 20 to 30,000, which is like a upper mid-tier series, which is like still pretty good. But yeah, and then after that, the big things that happened this week for me were, of course, that I released my game. It was alpha version 1.00, I guess, but basically the very first build, only core mechanics, still relatively buggy, but it's like a lot of work has gone into it, so I'm pretty proud of what I put out there for now, at least. And I'm still gonna be working on it, of course. Took a break yesterday, but starting today, I'm gonna be going back to implement a lot of the newer features or like stuff that I haven't gotten to yet. But that was pretty big for me. And yeah, other than that, like my friend also has been working on a ROM hack that he just released that I've been playing as well, which is
what's a ROM hack?
It's basically like you take a game and then you change, like you keep a lot of the core parts of the game or like engine of the game basically. It's generally done with like older games. So in this case, it was done with Pokemon Y, and then he like changed some of the fights. He changed some of the Pokemon that you can get, and then he changed like the dialogue and stuff. Honestly, he was just doing it for fun, and he didn't change all that much. But I've been playing through, and it's been a good time.
It's kind of weird hearing that Pokemon Y is an old game.
Yeah, well, I mean,
idea.
Y is basically like the newest one because I don't know if you guys know, but Citra has relatively recently launched, and alongside that, it's also been updating pretty quickly. So before, one of the big issues is Citra wouldn't be able to run with like any good FPS, like as in you would be running it at like 10 or 15 FPS for any of the good games.
Mm-hmm.
But at least on the update that I was playing on, this game was running at 30 FPS, which is the 3DS highest frame amount.
Right.
So
okay.
I didn't have any issues with frame rate. I was actually playing on 200% speed, and it was still at 60 FPS, which is basically like the highest it can reach, and which is like pretty impressive for me. Like I think it's pretty cool that we can emulate 3D. Well, I mean, whatever. It's not legal, but like. It's pretty cool that you can emulate 3DS games now.
Yeah, that's cool. For me, let's see. I haven't really done much this week, to be honest. I've been just like home doing music stuff. I haven't been. Yeah, that's basically it, to be honest. Yeah. What about you, Skylar?
Okay. So I got a message back from my Japanese pen pal way quicker than usual. I mentioned her episode 2, 3, I forget. But
while, yeah.
Usually it takes her about usually it takes her about a month or two to respond. And then the last time I mentioned it was special because it had taken like, way longer. Like I think the last time we had contact was like 2019, and then I got a letter back really quick this time. I don't know, maybe it's because like she just kind of remembered me and it's like, oh yeah, I still talk to that guy, or like quarantine, maybe it just has more time. But happy to really receive a letter.
Well,
Um,
quarantine's ended in Japan, so
yeah, which I mean, I didn't ask for much details. I don't keep up with specific news about like quarantine stuff in Japan, but I mean, like I was floating the idea of studying abroad, and if I did, I mean, I talked to her about that, and I was like,
Wait,
it'd be nice if we
remember
can meet
like
up.
sorry. Remember
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
senior year and then we're like we gotta plan a trip to go to Japan? That like never happened.
wait,
Did we
didn't we
say that?
say we were doing that? Oh yeah, yeah, we said we were gonna do it after you finish military, but then like
Yeah.
quarantine
But
happened.
now for now
So
coronavirus hit. Yeah. Yeah.
Unlucky. Well, I mean, we could still do that. I mean, I was also trying to see if I can organize a Japan trip with the Kendo guys from my university, but Japan's a big place. I can go multiple times.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of expensive to go, so we'll see.
Yeah,
That's
that
true.
that as well.
I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, we won't be able to go since coronavirus, but maybe sometime down the road. I mean, I'd love to go again now that I'm like a full-fledged weeb, because last time I
Yeah, you
went,
could, dude. You could be our guide. You speak Japanese.
holy shit.
Oh.
I mean,
Last time
because
I
I
went,
can't read anything.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
can read
I
the
mean,
Chinese characters, and
I'm only I'm not even, I wouldn't even say I'm like conversational level. I'm only like
wait,
just
what? I thought
under
you
that.
translate manga. Like you
Yeah,
translate
yeah, but I do okay.
stuff.
When I translate, it's not like I can only do well. Okay, it depends on which manga, but like for the harder ones, which don't have any like furigana, which is like the romanji writing on it basically, or like the hiragana writing on it. I
Hmm.
can't actually understand a lot of it because, and then like I work with someone else to do it, and
What?
then like basically he does like he's not fluent in native fluent in English, so I do like the English naturalization,
Oh,
and then I can do like a lot of the
so you
simpler
fix
ones for
like
like
grammar and shit.
yeah, yeah, but also like the for the easier manga that we do, like I can do like 95% of it. But yeah, like for the most difficult one, the one that gets the most views, which is like, kind of like a pun manga, uh, I can only understand like about 40% maybe just by myself, or like not understand, like
Better than
Wait, so
better than
know
zero.
everything.
when there's a pun, I would assume the pun doesn't translate directly. So you would have to like come up with another pun then.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the joke. So sometimes the joke translates decently well. So that's like if it's like a funny joke, I guess like it's a context joke, not really about the like a
Hmm.
pun. For the puns,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to come up with different puns, but sometimes
How long
they're
does
just
that
they just
take?
don't translate well. Um, Decently long. Well, okay, just like in general for us, we're like relatively slow in general, but most people, I think, or I don't know how long most people take, but for us, we take around for a 30 chapter or 30-page manga, we take around like 10 hours to translate, give or take. Like I don't do it in
Damn,
one day,
okay.
but over like the course of a couple weeks, spend
Damn,
like 10
okay.
hours on it.
I see.
Maybe longer. Don't know exact numbers, but
Damn. Okay. I thought you were like just a pro, just like yeah, easy, second language easy. Just like
no, I
fucking
only started
solo.
learning like just over 2 years ago. I think around the time I graduate college, I'll probably be at the level that I can translate like the majority of the manga without that much help. But um, I'm definitely not at that level yet.
I mean, I have an interest in studying Japanese. It's just like I would have to do it on my own because if I were to try to do it in like university and through an academic context, it just costs too much. And by cost, I mean like effort. Because like those classes are like 5 credit hours, dude, and that's a lot. And
Yeah,
it's it's such a fucking pain, dude. Like I like Japanese, but I can't like sacrifice my engineering curriculum or like uh any other stuff I do. Like because that could easily be like 2 other classes combined, like or
yeah.
even 3.
Well,
So like
for me, it was like yeah, it was a lot of work, especially in the first 2 years. We have Japanese is like you basically have to go to class every day. Luckily, it's not that much work outside of class, but and it also boosts my GPA because I generally can get good grades in that. But Yeah, I basically used all the AP credits that I earned in high school to take Japanese throughout college, and that's what I used the AP credits for, essentially. So I don't have to
Speaking of
take like some of
credits,
the requirements.
I didn't get a foreign language credit. They only gave me 2 credits for foreign language, so I still need another one.
Dude, I don't need foreign language credit. I don't know why.
I
What?
don't need it technically, but it's like basically
What the hell?
for us, it's like ours is like a little different, or like because basically it's like complicated, but our requirements are based on like which um, individual like residential college that you attend. Um, they call it like colleges here, but like basically it's the equivalent of what most universities would consider a residential college. Um,
Right.
and so based on that, you get your requirements. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
ours is split
Same,
into
same.
like 3 different categories of like you have to take like humanities and then like math and science and then um, like social science or whatever. Like I don't know exactly how that's split up, but like one of the
Right.
categories would be foreign language, but you can also take other classes within that, like psychology or whatever to fulfill that, or like history, I
I
think
see.
actually. But yeah,
I see. I see. Yeah.
Man, I have like a lot of gen ed stuff to do too. It's kind of annoying.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think I have 18 credits that I'm supposed to fill for Gen Ed, but then the Kent AP stuff filled 15, so I only have to take one more
oh wow,
like
damn,
Gen Ed class. So I was like, damn,
that's really
it's like
really
really nice.
nice
Yeah,
because
I can basically just take
mine
whatever I want.
I still need to take like quite a few gen eds. Like so total, I think Kent helped me fulfill probably around like 20% or 30%. Um, but I still need to take quite a few.
Oh, I see. For me,
More of
it's
my
just
intro classes got filled.
mm.
Like not my gen eds, so like I could skip like Calc 2 and like
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, that's the same for
that's
me.
like
that
the
type of stuff.
opposite for me, because like my intro ones weren't filled. The only one that was filled was CS, but then the basically the level 2 CS course was full anyways, so I have to take the intro one anyways, because yeah, that's
Yeah,
the only one that's open. So I basically
for
have to forfeit that one, and then I have to take the intro physics and intro math still. So
yeah, for us, like the intro CS course was required. Well, there was
oh
different
okay,
levels. Like you could take an easier one, and then you could take a harder one. And
I
I
see,
took the harder one, but it's still like it was the same stuff that we did in AP Comp Sci, except like the material was like more rigorous.
I see.
Yeah, one thing that's annoying about my college is that they don't like unless you take specifically programming courses, they don't really teach programming stuff. But then like in other classes, will expect you to know how to use certain programming languages, and it's just kind of irritating. Like I
Oh
don't know
really?
if you guys use uh, like I mean the big example for me is like MATLAB. I mean they have like one shitty MATLAB tutorial at the beginning of the class, and then expect you to know how to use like more complex stuff
Oh.
really quickly on. And
It's
MATLAB is
different because like
different
MATLAB
from
isn't even
yeah
like really a true programming language. It's like a scripting language, right? So it's a little different.
yeah
I don't
yeah.
really like we don't get taught that either. But I don't use that in general.
Well, I mean, yeah, my point is basically that you have to be comfortable with learning on your own and like searching up YouTube resources and stuff, which is kind of annoying when you're paying like thousands of dollars for quote unquote a world class education, as they love to call it.
But I mean, yeah, like it's kind of the same for me because like basically, in like my third course here or my third like the last quarter of my first year, like I had a course that required us to know like C and stuff, but like they never taught us to us, and they didn't even like say like they said at the beginning of class like, okay, most of you guys probably don't know C, and you'll learn.
But
And
fuck you
then
all.
yeah, and then they basically just like did I don't know what's it called, like trial by fire or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the correct term, but anyway, basically they just
I think it's like
gave
out
us
of the frying pan into the fire.
yeah something like that. Um, but they basically just gave us assignments with C, and then we just had to learn it like on the fly. So if you
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
learn it, then you just failed the class.
Dude, I had an entire class devoted to C.
But yeah, like
Damn.
the classes were in C, but like they didn't like tell you how to program in C or anything. Like they were basically just like, okay, we're here now. You have to learn C. We're not going to teach it to you, but we're going to give you assignments in it. And if you don't pick it up, then you're going to fail the class. So it's just
That's probably a good thing. You have to like. It's like it's almost like it's teaching you how to learn by yourself fast, or it's like forcing you to do that. Right?
yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but also like, should I be forced to learn by myself when I'm paying you money? Like,
But
right?
but the point is like they don't
What am I
want to
paying for at that
spend-
point? That's not that, like, they just give me the structure to learn, and like the threat of deadlines in a grade looming over my head. They're not actually teaching me things. Anyway,
Well, the point of that is like, well, okay, I don't know about you, but like basically the reason they didn't teach us is because they don't want to focus on learning the language because it's more something that you can do on your own time rather than like the more complex stuff that they were teaching as it like basically like, okay, you want to teach like data structures or you want to teach like these other things that are like more complex. You don't need to teach the language to be able to understand that. Or like you should come with the expectation that the students already know that because like the more complex stuff they can't really learn on their own. Like there aren't resources to do that, right? So
or at least they should give us those resources, right? Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, it was like MATLAB. They had one of the TAs host a few sessions,
mm-hmm.
and then just basically like kind of called it a day. And
yeah. For us, it was like
I think
the TAs would be like helpful. Like if you want to go to the TAs, then they'll be willing to teach you, but they don't really like block out time or like give you lectures about it or anything.
yeah, that's annoying to me. But well, I guess I ended up passing my class and surviving, so it wasn't too bad, I guess. Well, I mean, well, all right. I think we can segue into the next topic then.
Yeah. It's gotta be the most boring start to a podcast, right?
Maybe we should cut this. Whatever. Me and Michael both saw the Goblin movie recently. Thoughts?
Okay, so I mean, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but so Goblin Slayer, if it wasn't really obvious, that Goblin Slayer is actually one of like I guess partially like a big inspiration for me in terms of like creative inspiration for my game, and I definitely was like I watched this like a couple weeks ago actually, but it definitely reignited some of that love for the series I have. Even though, yeah, like I agree that
Love
it's
of the
probably not
series,
as
hatred
good.
of goblins.
Yeah, it's probably not as good as the manga, to be honest. But I still really enjoy like the more raw, like emotions that come from that series as opposed to like I don't know general anime.
Okay, so I, on the other hand, thought it was a bit disappointing. I thought the build up was going to be something much bigger, and the trailer kind of made me think that. And then the manga just started covering this arc, and I think that, well, actually, spoilers for the Goblin Slayer movie. Basically, just the manga just got to the part where he's about to perform the ritual, and they find out the cleric's dead.
Yeah.
Like right before the climactic battle, and I don't know. It just felt way more ominous in the manga, whereas the movie was just like, all right, panning shot from above. Let me just show you everything, and like, it was really underwhelming. I also am starting to grow a little tired of like, this feels like this happens multiple times where it's just, oh, adventurers try to kill goblins and then they fuck up, and then Goblin Slayer has to rescue them, and it's just variations of that over and over again. I mean, so I actually read. I was reading the Year One side story, and that one was kind of interesting because he partners with a wizard and goes up this
I
like
read that.
infinite tower or something, and I was like, that's cool. That's I haven't seen before, right? Like random party, like noble family party girl tries to be an adventurer, fails horribly, goes wrong, gone sexual, gone goblins, like for the fucking fifth time, right? And then I'm like, okay.
I mean, part of it is also like, well, some of the enjoyment is not only just like, okay, yes, the premise may be like kind of similar slash very similar, but like Goblin Slayer himself like changes a lot throughout the series, like compared to when they like first meet up as a party, like he's completely different now, and like that is something that they do highlight, but
Soka. I mean, Kind of. I mean, he's
Or not
just that
even
he's
just
more receptive
Goblin
to
Slayer.
working with others, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like, their chemistry as like a party gets better.
Yeah, but I still feel like the characters are pretty like stereotypical and kind of one note. Like I would want
That's kind of the point,
more.
though.
You know? I mean that's. I feel like they're starting to develop the elf girl a bit more.
Mhm.
She talks about how I forget the specific scene, but basically it was like she lived so long, and then like I buy the fact that she has a different perspective because she can live she does and she has lived for so long.
Yeah.
Like I think that one conversation she has with the priest, like the fan service scene where they're both in the bath talking.
Yeah.
I thought that was solid, but overall I hesitate to say disappointed, but I was just like meh on the movie. When I really wanted to be much more.
I would say that it was good, but it didn't exceed my expectations. As in, like, it's basically standard fare for where I would expect the series to go. Like, it's like on the same level as the Goblin Slayer anime, which while it was good, it wasn't anything that like surpassed the manga in any way.
Yeah, I guess what I'm happy about is that it brings more people into the Goblin Slayer fandom because I do enjoy the series.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Is
I have
the
nothing more to add on
series
that.
still ongoing?
Yeah.
So the only thing I know about Goblin Slayer is that my brother watched a few. I think he watched season 1, or he watched whatever was on Netflix essentially.
Okay.
And then the only thing I remember is like goblins like murdering the characters, and I was like, what the fuck? And then yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like
yes, that
relatively
happens.
brutal. But I think like the anime
yeah,
is
there's-
like
I mean-
pretty muted except for the first episode.
Yeah, they have that controversial first episode scene, which I actually never saw because I just watched clips of the anime on YouTube because
Oh, okay.
I mean I've already seen it. I read it and I thought that just the way the art is, it wasn't as impactful. It was flatter, like in the manga. It's just
Yeah.
everything feels way more visceral in the manga. But I think
It's
Goblin
also,
Slayer is
like-
actually original a light novel series. Correct me
Yeah, it
if
was a
I'm
light
wrong.
novel series. I'm pretty sure it's still, well, okay, actually, don't quote me on that, but I think it's still ongoing. It is like very popular, like in general, outside of the anime world. Like basically the people who read manga, who like read light novels, it is like one of the most popular series for sure. And that's why I got an anime adaptation. It's just the anime adaptation just wasn't. It was like relatively popular, but it wasn't anything that like, I don't know. It wasn't like Attack on Titan or anything, basically.
Attack on Titan is the best. Oh, I started convinced my family to start watching it. They have all these wild theories about Attack on Titan right now. It's kind of fun to watch.
Wait, your family is watching Attack on Titan?
Yeah, so we got a new TV and we put it in the dining room,
Oh.
and then and then we were scrolling Netflix, and then I saw Attack on Titan. I was like, oh, I could rewatch that. That's really good. And then my brother has seen it. He was like, I like that too. And then so it kind of just roped our family into it.
Oh, okay, damn.
Yeah, I'll tell you how that goes. But like my
Yeah.
Kinda
so
interesting.
yeah. So I guess also do any of your family members enjoy anime then?
No.
I
Well,
mean,
my
your
brother
right?
kinda does. He only does it when he's like really bored, but then he doesn't really like he doesn't really watch it. He only like watches it from time to time, but then like he's not invested in the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Wait.
probably the best way to put it.
Okay, interesting.
Like it's one of those like it's kind of like if you were to like be doing something and then you have like YouTube on the side.
Oh, okay. I see.
So he has like sometimes he has anime on the side, but that's about it. Yeah.
So, well, okay. Like my mom was interested in watching anime because like I watch a lot of anime, so she was like, "Oh, I want to see what this is about." And then like,
Oh, boy.
she watched it, and
Lol.
then she was just like, "Okay." My dad was basically just like, "This is stupid. Like, why the fuck are you watching this? It's like a fucking cartoon." I was like, "Okay, whatever, dude." And then my mom was like, "This is interesting, but like, like I don't know. I wouldn't do it for a
What
hobby."
show is it? What show is it?
I think it was Attack on Titan, actually. I watched, like, the
What?
first episode.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like my family was like, Jesus Christ, when his mother got eaten, and they were like, oh my god,
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
and
I
they
mean,
were
some
they
people
were
just
like,
don't
this
like
is
it.
stupid, whatever. Okay, fine. I want to talk about Attack. I want to talk about Attack on Titan at some point, but like I think I'd want to organize my thoughts a bit more, and also the manga's ending soon, so
Oh, I
maybe we can
still
talk about
haven't
that.
watched it in full. I only watched like the
You
first two
totally
episodes.
should. Like, definitely contender for like anime of the decade. Like, easy
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my
I mean,
opinion.
my main issue is that for anime, I have like a, I guess like a bad habit slash my viewing experience is really weird compared to most people, or I don't know if it's compared to most people, but like I guess this is like relatively normal now. But I'm basically like a seasonal anime watcher, so I watch anime as they come out, and I don't really watch new shows. And it's like easy for
Do
me
you watch
to
old shows?
uh or sorry, yeah, I don't really watch like old shows is what I mean. The
Oh,
only time that I watch older shows is basically between seasons. So like when the season ends, there's like about a 2 week period before the next season starts, and then
hmm.
I normally will watch like one show during that time, unless like the season is like really light on like decent slash good shows. I generally will just only watch seasonal stuff because like it's just easier for me to consume because it's like on a regular basis, and then like I have the like time or like I basically know that I'll have enough time to watch like whatever it is like 5 to 8 episodes a week.
Wait, then what do you
Hmm.
do like between the episodes? Because like since you only watch like when there's like a new thing, so like what do you do between the episodes? Because there's like a week where there's nothing new, right?
Well, no, because like I watch every season like for the last couple years now. I've been watching like give or take. It's generally between like 6 or 7 to 10 shows per season. So it comes out with like about like 8 to 9 episodes a week. So then I just watch
Oh,
those
so
episodes
you
every
kind of
week.
space it out. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
space
So
it out
even if
essentially.
they all come out on like Friday, basically I'll just like so like this season, a lot of the anime come out on like I think Wednesday or Thursday around that time.
Uh-huh.
But I normally just
Yeah,
space it out between like across the week. So it's like whatever I'm in the mood
I
for
see.
that day. So I'll be like, okay, I want to watch some anime. I'll watch this episode that I have the tab open for, and then I'll just rotate through them.
I see. I see.
I'm trying to go in the complete opposite direction, where I want to kind of complete one show at a time before moving on to the current stuff, and also because like a lot of the current stuff doesn't interest me as much. I don't know. Like maybe I unlike Michael, where he can very easily give things a shot and just if it's interesting he stays on, if it's not interesting he gets off. I have a lot more hesitation in even starting a new show. I usually don't start a show unless I'm at least like 55-60% sure that I'm going to finish it. Um,
Yeah. So I've actually been like less on the um starting new stuff now because like right before when I first started this like seasonal adventure basically I would give like I don't know like 15 shows a shot and then I would drop like half of them. Nowadays I generally will only start like 10 or like 11 and maybe like out of those or sorry like maybe like 12 shows or whatever and then like two of those I just like drop within the first like 3 minutes of opening the fucking tab and then like I just instantly know it's fucking bad.
That's like
Um,
most things I try to watch. Like I'll watch a few minutes and then I'll be like, screw this, and I close
yeah,
it.
but like most of the time I'll keep with like 7 or 8 of those shows in a season. And like maybe I'll drop one of them. Like generally I won't drop them like after the like 4 or 5 episode mark. There's been like a few exceptions. Like there is this one isekai show that like I don't know like I basically got off the isekai train now, so like I don't watch like new isekai or like the new bad isekai I guess. But there was a time when I was still like watching bad isekai, and one of them was like I don't know if you know what the show is, Shichisei no Subaru. Um, but it was
no, I
the
don't think
terrible
so.
fucking show. It was basically trash, right? And then for some reason I was like watching it for like I don't know like 6 or 7 episodes, and then like after that was like the anime that was like the turning point for me. It was like, wait, why am I wasting my time watching anime that I'm like not even enjoying? Like, so then I like stopped watching like bad seasonal anime. I still generally like everything I watch now. I still like relatively enjoy.
Okay, I mean, like, because I can see myself continuing in this direction of like waiting and like going for older shows. Because I watched all of Psychopaths recently, the first and second season, on a recommendation from a friend, and I really liked it. And I think I'd been spoiled by like one plot point, and it still didn't take away from my enjoyment of the show. And so I'm planning to go back and rewatch. Actually not rewatch, just watch for the first time. Zankyo no Terror, Terror in Resonance, because I
I
heard
haven't watched that
good
either.
things. And then Giga also said it was good, so I'm like, well, I usually like the things Giga likes, so I'll give that a shot. But yeah. So actually, a funny thing that happened to me recently was one of my Facebook friends, her account got hacked, and she sent me a message, and the thumbnail was like this couple going at it in the parking lot, and then
Fuck.
the
Okay.
caption was like, this caption was like, "Oh my god, it's you," and then I'm like, "Well, I know that's not me. So, what's up with that?" And then she came out, and she apologized, and was like, "Oh, my Facebook got hacked." I mean, we got along like surprisingly well, and then she was the one who recommended that I watch Psychopaths. So, interesting story about how I ended up seeing Psychopaths, but it was really good. It was really, 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 really good. The first season much better than the second. Uh, it's a Genuro Bochi show, Michael. So it's like by the same guy who wrote like Fate Zero, Madoka Magica, All
Okay.
No Zero. Like he's like basically like a god. But yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of their
So
shows to be honest. Like I haven't seen Madoka Magica yet.
me neither. Just because it like the aesthetics is not it's not there for me. You know what I mean?
I
Like
would probably
magical.
enjoy it to be honest. But I just haven't had the chance to sit down and watch it. Like the biggest reason why I like the current way that or I continue to watch anime the current way I do is because like um I normally am busy with something, so whether that be school or um just like right now I'm like working on my game or like I have internship last summer or whatever it is. So I normally don't have like for me like if I want to binge an anime, it really needs to be like okay I have nothing else to do and I'm just going to watch this anime for like a couple days. Um, but like then it kind of like detracts from everything else I'm doing. So like then I can't like really work on homework or like um work on other stuff. So like I don't really want to get into that kind of mindset too much because yeah, it just feels like I'm like fucking over other parts of my life when I do that. Which is why like when I'm watching like seasonal anime, it's like okay, I can spread out my time and I can do it like in the mornings and at nights when like nothing else is going on.
Man, you guys you're so disciplined and regimented. I just be like, I feel like watching this, and then I like be like 4 or 5 episodes later and be like, ah man, I had things to do. All right, time to go back to that then, I guess. But well, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find out, or like we can talk about like overall who watches more or less actual minutes of anime. I get the feeling that it's probably going to be me, because I feel
I
like
think
I'm
you've
pretty
been well. I
stingy
mean,
with
you've
my
been
time.
watching longer, so
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, never mind. But
I okay. So there was like a period of my life. Okay, so I've watched around like 360 shows or something. Okay, my now completed number is around like 360 or something. I update it like relatively frequently, and it's pretty accurate. But that's
I
not
don't use
including
them,
like
Mal.
um but like basically why I'm bringing this up is because the first few years I watched anime, I watched a shit ton of anime. Like I would watch like anime just like that was like the only thing I did basically, and I racked up like a lot of like shows like completed within the first few years because like that's when you like can discover everything and like you everything is good basically. Um, but like now since I just watch seasonal stuff, like I only basically complete around like 40 shows a year or something like that, which is like still a lot, but like
That is a
it's
lot. I don't think I do that much anymore.
okay.
Well, actually, maybe I surprised myself, but
Like 40 shows a year compared to like the first few years, I was watching like 100 to 150 shows a year because
God.
that's when basically everything is good. So you can just watch anything.
Well, all right. Well, transitioning back to a topic that Tiger can give input on, I want to talk about Rent a Girlfriend and then more broadly, like simping.
Wait, so why could I contribute to this conversation?
Well, because we're just pure anime talk. It's just like you have no room to kind of jump in there, right?
Right, but I have a lot of experience talking about simping, right?
Yes.
Is that what's going
No,
on?
not my point. It's just that my point was like
Yes, it is.
it's a good discussion. This is more of a discussion session
Right.
and
Okay.
your thoughts on it and stuff.
Right.
But so
You want to give some context then
so
on why?
yeah,
you think so?
I was
Yeah,
going to
I
use
don't
like
know. Hmm.
the for me, I feel like simping is like kind of becoming like a cultural issue. Like
Wait, are
it's
we
a
talking
meme.
about simping or rent a girlfriend? Because
We
you
talk
have to
about
explain what rent a
simping
girlfriend is
through
first.
rent a girlfriend. But okay, so rent a girlfriend is so I first heard about this series through Michael a few episodes back.
Okay.
But I had heard of the concept of um like basically paying for a girlfriend and like having dates like before that already. And then I'd seen like a few YouTube videos on the topic. And then I mean, because I think all of us also have our ears pretty close to like the gaming and anime side of young culture, that
Yeah.
we're aware of like sipping and all that. And so Mako, you want to give like a brief rundown of Rent a Girlfriend as a series first?
Okay, sure. So basically, what the series is, it starts off with like some college kid who breaks up with his girlfriend, and so he finds solace by renting a girlfriend, as the title suggests. And as the series progresses, it basically is like his misadventures with like throughout the series with this girl that eventually he falls in love with, and it's like a relatively standard like rom-com show. um it's pretty notable, or like its most notable feature, I guess, is that the fact that the main character is like considered like a massive simp for this girl, that he will do like basically anything for her, including paying
Mind
like
you,
tons
okay,
of fucking money, by the way.
yeah. So I started reading the manga a little bit, and I got I want to say like 40 or 50 chapters in. But I was still like even that many chapters in, I still didn't get to the point where the other two girls were introduced yet.
Okay.
I think I stopped around the point
They aren't
when
that
he like
notable.
say
Basically, well, I mean, you're stopping, right? Like, you don't really care that much about spoilers.
no, I don't. Yeah.
Okay, so the other two girls, one of them is like not really that important. It's more like she's just like the longer haired one. She's just like quiet, and she's used as like the plot point basically. And
The pink hair
she's
girl
like
one in the anime, right?
she's just very
Yeah.
shy in general, and like she's not that notable. She's not a major character. She only appears in like one out of every like 20 chapters or whatever. The other one is like more notable
Wow, okay.
because basically this is like such an anime thing, but she falls in love with the MC because she sees like him like simping for Chizuru. So,
What?
and then she's like extremely fucking thirsty. So her entire character is basically just trying to,
Thirst.
yeah, like she just like tries to get in the way of the relationship as much as possible, and then she like forces herself on him as like her actual, like as the actual girlfriend or something. And yeah, Kazuya just doesn't like her at all, so unlucky. She's also kind of annoying.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, wow, okay, that was not the dynamic I was expecting. I thought it'd feel like more of a Nisekoi, right, where like all the girls are like kind of, I don't know. That feels so bad. That feels like they're just tacked on. Like
Kind of. In a way, like the only girl that really matters in the show is Chizuru, or like in the series. Like the other ones are just clearly not as good.
okay,
It's not like a question. It's more like the question is more like, will they get together, or rather than like who does he pick? Because like Chizuru, while she like, there's hints that she kind of likes him. Okay, obviously they will, but like
so
it's not
obvious.
as much of like, oh, they're all kind of like drooling over him or whatever, like Chizuru. It's more like Kazuya simps for the girl rather than the girl simping for the MC, like a lot of harem anime, if you know what I mean.
Kind of. I mean, well, tying this back to a broader discussion of kind of simp culture. Tiger, what do you think of what you just heard? Like a series based around simping.
I mean, I mean, I mean, there's nothing like okay. So for a series to be based around that, I think it's interesting, right? Like it's a like it's a entertaining idea, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I mean that's what I have to say for the series. But I but like I guess
Well,
like
Sky, I
when
wanted
it
to
comes
talk
to
about.
Like
Sky, you
the
wanted to talk
broader
you want-
cultural phenomena.
right. I mean it's like I feel like it's always been around
Like the rise
except
of e-girls and stuff.
okay, so like that. I mean it's like a natural progression in my opinion. So
I mean, like, well, just the
right.
things that I've seen is like, like white knighting, or like simping, or like, just the people paying like ungodly amounts of money to like Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's
Yeah,
pretty
like-
ridiculous.
like-
I mean, it's a byproduct basically of like, so there like girls on the internet are just like there's not as many. Well, okay, no, I should say not on the internet, but rather like for gaming specifically. Like, it depends on the game. It varies, right? But like even the most like the games where there's like the most girls out of like the mainstream stuff, it's like max probably like 30%. I would say like I don't know exact statistics, but I would say 30% might even be like very generous. But yeah, in general, it's just like
kinda.
very rare to see. Like in general, it's like you can assume that people are guys just because like more guys will be playing video games, especially like the most popular stuff. Or
So you
even
think it's just an outgrowth of the natural dynamics of the hobby itself? Like, because most gamers are male, therefore females are more popular?
Yeah, well, also because like those types of people, like people who play games a lot, tend to not, especially like people who watch Twitch a lot, who like only play video games, that don't get as much social interaction. I mean, not to say that I do, because I clearly don't, but like
Nobody is in quarantine.
yeah, but I just mean like compared to like the normal person, like the normal person you're gonna encounter like, or I guess it's like normal is kind of misleading, but like a normal college student who like goes to classes, goes to party and stuff, like they'll get like normal female interaction, but like if you just like only play games and watch Twitch streams, like you don't get normal female interaction. So like especially when they put on like a face on screen where it's supposed to be that you're supposed to like them, then it's not surprising that they're popular, I guess.
Do you think it's healthy?
I mean, no, but like
No. Easy. Okay.
I don't think it's, or
I think-
I guess it depends. It depends. I should say it's not. It can be healthy if you just enjoy watching them as, or I should say it's not unhealthy if you just enjoy watching them as a content creator. But like when it gets to the point where like you're, like I don't know, Kazuya levels of simping, where you're just like dishing out fucking mad cash, or like I don't know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
That was the part that
ruining
really
your
got
life.
me about the series. Like, he was paying upwards of like $100 a day, right? In
Yeah,
like
yeah.
American U.S. currency, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude! Like, oh my god, I could never imagine myself like. There's literally no woman on earth I would do that for.
Yeah, but basically, if you're ruining your livelihood for it, then that's when it becomes like when it becomes unhealthy. Like when you send like stalker messages when it's like that level of which is kind of like the horror stories, right? But that is like when it becomes unhealthy. But like if you're just watching them as a content creator and you enjoy them for like the right reasons, like whatever it is, then it's like fine. I don't think it's like that.
So I guess, kind of a broader point. Like, what do you guys define simping as? Like, what would you classify as border as like right in the line of simping behavior to like consider simping behavior?
Well, I think my definition is just like what it's like the common definition, right? But then I think like that the common definition of simping doesn't mean it's necessarily like that bad, right?
yeah,
It's just
so,
like
Like the
being
non-urban
overly
dictionary.
nice. It's just like being overly nice towards a girl when you're a guy, or actually, it's just being overly nice to someone that like you could be attracted to or something, right?
yeah.
I don't think, yeah, it doesn't have to be boy to a girl, right? It doesn't have to be male.
I think it's
to
generally
female,
used
right?
in that context.
Yeah, it's generally used. But like, what if like it could be like female to male or like male to male or female to female, right? Like
Maybe,
theoretically
I don't
speaking.
know. I just never heard it in that
I've
context.
I've never seen that before though. Now
Oh,
that you mention it,
I
like,
have, and then it was like on it was like a Twitch clip, and then it was very odd.
Female to male, I've seen.
Yeah, I'm talking
Female
about
to
female
female,
to
I've
male.
seen in media, but like not in
I've never seen male to male, and I've never seen.
Yeah, I've never seen male to male, but like
not in person, not like in a.
But I'm saying
real
like technically you
situation.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So I mean, if that's the definition, then I think it's like not necessarily that bad. It's obviously if you take that to the extreme, then it could become problematic. Yeah.
Well, for me, like, okay, yeah. So basically, I mean, I know people who are like this. Not to say any names, but who
Wait,
will
wait.
basically.
Okay.
You want me to
Off the
name
air,
names?
off the air.
Off the air.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could just call
Or
this guy
name it,
out.
then I can just like
Or say in a way that
cut it out. I cut out
that
the word,
we would
you know?
understand.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
So to say it in a way that you would understand, somebody that we know, that I am close to. Anyway.
Okay, no, I think I know who you're talking about.
I have an idea.
Okay. So anyway, basically, people that will like treat girls like especially nice, like just by knowing the fact
Yeah,
that they're a girl
overly
without
nice.
any other
Right.
reason. That is basically what a simp is, right? So like, I think that kind of behavior is like, okay, yeah, it's a little bit weird, but like at the same time, like I don't think that's like necessarily unhealthy or bad. Like it's just like a personality trait, I guess. And people will meme on it or whatever, but like whatever, I don't care that much about that kind of stuff. But like if it gets to the point where like you're paying money or like I don't know, whenever it gets to the point where it's unhealthy, like it starts to like infringe on your normal functionalities as a human being, is where it becomes an issue.
What would constitute too nice for you? Like, what would be behavior that you'd be like, I wouldn't do that for someone?
Oh, like I wouldn't do that for someone. Okay, that's not even like, because that's like way further. Like what I would do is like I generally I don't know. I mean, other people.
What would be what would be considered simping behavior by yourself?
Okay, by myself, like.
Yeah.
All right, you would have to give me like a context, I guess, but like.
Okay, well, I guess I can start there because
Okay.
Recently, so I've been feeling more conscious about this because I think it might be like indicative of larger problems. But so one of my friends was saying, oh, she was going to move on campus, right? And then my initial instinct was to offer to help her to move. And then I thought about it and I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. And so I changed it. What I was originally going to just say in a message, and I was basically like, and I teased her a little bit about it. Basically like, ha ha ha, have fun with that kind of thing. But that was like a moment in my own life where I was kind of like, like, am I too nice sometimes? Because I've legitimately heard that as
I think
as a criticism of me before.
Wait, really? Okay.
Yes.
That's
well, I mean, not to
surprising
us,
me.
not to us.
Wait, is she a close friend though? Like, is she like an actual friend, or is she just like a classmate? If you said that part, I missed it, so that's my bad.
Okay, so I know her through a university club. I guess I can put it that way.
So
okay,
like,
so it
she's not like a friend. She's like, yeah, I know her from that.
Yeah, I mean, I would count us as friends. Because she's so the club I'm in, they assign like teachers and students, and then they teach like a language. And so she's been helping me with my Chinese. I mean, not recently, but before the world was set on fire. She was my teacher. So I know her through that.
I think like offering to help a friend move is like not that. It's not simpy.
Well, okay, so it's basically like
doesn't mean
this
you're
is how I would say it. Like, if you had another friend who was a guy in the same situation, like, would you have helped him? And then if the answer is no, that means it's like simping behavior, because you're especially treating it.
Sure,
nicer
yeah,
because
that's
it's
probably
girl.
a good definition. But I guess what I'm saying is that like offering to help isn't necessarily
Yeah, exactly. So like if
simpy thing in
for
this
example,
case, it's not that bad as well.
like Skylar, like if you
Yeah, no,
came to like San Diego or whatever, and like you were like, oh, I'm gonna move in, and then I would probably like offer to help you, but like it's not like a simp behavior. It's just like, okay, like you're like a close friend, right? So I would want to help you. But like if it's like, somebody that I didn't really know, like I don't know, just like one of our Kent classmates, like if it was like a girl that I didn't really know that well, and they came and they told me, okay, I'm coming, I'll probably say like good luck, and if they ask me to help, I'll probably help, but like I won't offer it like firsthand, if you know what I mean.
Okay, because like right in those types of interactions, I think that the nuances are really important. I think that I'm trying to imagine if it was like the other way around, it was a guy friend, I probably wouldn't offer her. So, uh, yeah, I guess I'm a sort of I don't know, because like for heterosexual people, like male female relationships are different than uh same gender relationships, right? Even if there's like not even if they're not like romantically involved, you know what I mean?
No,
Not
I mean,
always.
I
Not
think
for you
there's
guys,
definitely
okay?
a different. There's
I don't
definitely
think
like a
so.
different dynamic in general. But like for people that I don't really have much romantic interest in, or at all, I guess, like my closer female friends, I don't really treat them any different.
Yeah, I
general.
would say so as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
They
at
would have to be
first, but
like
like,
Agree with my
my close friends, but like my average male friend and my average female friend, I treat them pretty differently, I think.
I wouldn't really say so.
Yeah.
Unless I'm
Interesting,
not conscious
interesting.
of such behavior, but yeah.
I mean, I'm conscious of it because like I'll tone back some of my jokes.
Wait, why? Do you
I'll
think
be
they'll
like
take it the
nicer and
wrong
stuff.
way? Or
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, like would you just nonchalantly make a dick joke to like one of your not super close
Oh.
girlfriends?
I wouldn't nonchalantly make a dick joke.
If
in
it
general,
was-
so.
yeah, like if
Oh.
if I was making that dick joke with you guys, I would be comfortable making the dick joke with my, my female friends as well. But I usually don't make dick jokes. So I guess
Okay, I definitely
that's
wouldn't.
the-
I definitely wouldn't.
I also don't have
and-
female friends who are as close as like my closest male friends, which is like, so it's kind of a little bit harder to separate. Like I don't have any female friend who I'm as close to as like Tiger, or even you with you, Skyler. Like I don't really have any female
Even
friends
me, lowly
Like,
Skyler.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like a
Unlucky.
diss on you or whatever, but like we're clearly not like as close friends as like I don't know, some of the other people I know.
Like the simp.
Hello, darkness,
Like
my
Tiger.
old friend.
No, I was gonna say like the simp, but okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Anyway, so
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's just a phenomenon that interests me a lot because I feel like it's, or maybe I just didn't notice it before, but I feel like it's becoming more prevalent. And I think as we progress as a society, I feel like it's going to crop up again. And like back to what episode was it when I was talking about like the AI girlfriends with like Blade Runner and all that. Like
Yeah.
I feel like this is all going to coalesce into something.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
no.
curious
I think
what form
like
it will take.
Like the modern kind of like parasocial kind of like e-girl relationships. Like I think that's like a very natural progression because it's like, well, first of all, like the technology enables it, right? You have Twitch, you have like what's that thing called?
Chatterbait or whatever.
No, I was gonna say it's like the app OnlyFans. Sorry.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, stuff like that.
OnlyFans.
It's just like very like first like the services are built, and then you have millions of people that that at least they feel more isolated than the previous generation.
Yeah, because you have.
And then you have exactly, you have exactly. So it's like,
And then
so
the
you
girls
put-
have wider reach now too. Like because I feel
Yeah.
like in the olden
Right, yeah,
days,
exactly.
how many girls could Pokemon get to sim for her?
Right, exactly.
Now she
So
has
you-
like
you
a
have-
literal army.
Right, you have Twitch, you have all of that, and then you have like the infrastructure built in place for these girls to like make a living off of doing just this, right?
Yeah.
So like you put all of these together, like this has to happen. It would be weird if this wasn't a thing, right?
Well, it's not unexpected, but is it justified to you guys? Do you what do you think of it from a judgment perspective and not a like from a scientific
Right, like,
perspective?
I
where it's
I
like,
think if
yeah, of course it
you're
happened.
if you're like the average, if you're like an average viewer that like even just like pays a monthly sub, like I think that's
Mhm.
fine, right? But like obviously, if you're donating hundreds of dollars like every day or maybe like every
Yeah,
few
basically,
days, like
it's
that could be a
impinging on your
bit too
livelihood.
much.
Well, I would even say
Right,
So
yeah,
as soon
exactly.
as you develop some sort of kind of unhealthy dependency on
Right,
this,
right, yeah,
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
actually start thinking of her as your long distance girlfriend, kind of.
yeah,
Right,
that's like
exactly,
really unhealthy.
exactly.
I wonder how
Um,
many of these people have had relationships before, and I don't say that as a knock against them, but like,
a lot of them,
uh,
have only had them. Well, okay, because there's been a lot of drama, right? But like a lot of, at least the most popular ones, start getting into relationships like after they become popular live streamers, I guess.
Wait,
right, and
wait, no,
like
no, no. I
there
think
was that
Skylar was
whole
talking about. Wait, were you
Wait,
talking about the viewers or
or
the
oh,
e-girls
you're talking about
themselves?
the
kind of
viewer.
both, but I mean, I want to talk about both, but we could talk about the streamers themselves first. Like, you guys remember Nico Lol, the OK
Yes.
Boomer girl, the
Yes.
dance,
Yeah.
and then when it came out, she had a boyfriend. She lost like a huge chunk of her followers like immediately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah,
it makes sense to me.
it makes sense,
know?
but it's still pretty fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like okay, so like to me, it's just like it's very clear that not everyone like uses their brain all the time, like to think about some of these things logically, because like
Or ever.
or ever, yeah, but if you just think about it for like 3 seconds, like how likely is it that it's one person out of like whatever however many followers, I have no idea, like whatever, like hundreds of thousands of followers, like what is the chance that you as a person would ever like have an interaction with them beyond just like being a fan, right? Like
right. But honestly, I don't know because I don't really know anyone that that it's like that, so it's hard
Mhm.
for me to.
I don't know anyone who's at that level. I mean, I
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
wouldn't like make friends with somebody who is like that.
I don't know. You should
Would you be friends
you
with
should ask
Kazuya, or what was his name, the Red's girlfriend guy?
What would I be friends with that kind of guy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be like a weirdly unhealthy. Like, I don't know, because I also find that like in general people like that, or not find, I guess, but like in general, from my understanding at least, I might be wrong, but people like that don't really have healthy social relationships outside of like the live streaming part as well, if you know what I mean. Like people who like would simp for Pokimane, that like pay her millions of dollars or hundreds of dollars and stuff, and like they probably don't have like healthy social relationships outside of Twitch either.
Yeah. So, do you think that
I have no
it's making
idea.
the problem worse? I feel like it does make the problem worse.
Yeah, because like I think if you're by yourself and there's nobody to tell you like, okay, you should probably like stop ruining your life, then like you probably will continue to do it. But um like if you have like a group of friends and they actually like basically intervene and they hold an intervention and be like, yeah, should probably stop, like this is not good for you, then
This is instead of Alcohol Anonymous, it's just like
yeah.
Simps Anonymous, and they have to get. It's like, oh man,
Exactly.
I donated $500 to Pokemon today. Be like, oh, thanks, Michael. Thanks for sharing. I'm sure this is very difficult for you to come out and admit that. Blah blah.
Yeah,
I don't
but,
know. I feel like for any of us, we can't really speak that affirmatively about any of these because like we don't really know anyone that's like that. I don't think there's been any like actual studies done on these people.
That's true.
And then most of these people are anonymous. Like for all we know, they could be like Arab, like oil princes, right? Like
Correct,
technically,
that's
right? So like, I think we can't really say that much about what these people's lives are and then like what their situation is. So
yeah, that's true.
Did you guys hear about that like lawsuit that I think is being filed against Twitch?
Yeah.
And
It's retarded. It's retarded.
it's
Wait,
so
about
funny
what?
though. Wait,
what?
filament.
Okay, so basically,
Which
there's this
lawsuit? Because there's a lot of lawsuits.
yeah, well, there is the one that Skyler is referencing about this. It's like there's this one guy who filed a lawsuit because he followed like 750 female streamers and no male streamers, and then he like donates or whatever, and then he has like a sex addiction or something like
Yeah.
that. Like,
And yeah, he's talking about how like
okay.
that Twitch enabled his addiction to
Yeah.
women, and just hearing all that in like legal speak is the funniest thing ever. And then like they're like they're like anecdotes of his experience, and it's like he was saying like one time he like was massaging himself a bit too hard, and he like got stuff on his monitor, and like it shorted out his like computer or something. And it was fucking hilarious.
And then also like this guy is clearly just crazy, and it's not gonna come of anything because like he also sued like Nintendo and like Microsoft and like a bunch of other companies before for like and lost every single lawsuit. So he's just like the guy is just crazy. Like
apart from this,
part of me
there's
wants him to like succeed at some level. Like I want more from this story. You know what I mean? Like this is such good content, dude.
I wouldn't want it because like I feel like it's so baseless that it's like
it's so
if
ridiculous.
he were to win, it would be like screwing Twitch over. Right?
Yeah, it would be, but
That's
it
like
would be
BS.
really funny. But like it would be really funny.
It would be
but, like,
so
it's
funny,
so
dude.
Stupid.
Imagine if he got
we have to ask
imagine if he
Jeff
got settlement
Bezos
money.
to lose on purpose, and then we could go watch. I'm sure he can afford it.
Uh,
Yeah.
That'd be so funny though. I want to see more on that story. We'll keep you informed here at Shitposting with Lance. But so I guess
Speaking
I
of
kind
Twitch
of
and sorry, I was gonna
Yeah, go
say
ahead.
speaking of like Twitch and lawsuits, I don't know if you guys are aware about some like other legal issues that Twitch is experiencing right now.
what's
I do
what
not.
you're referring to?
Specifically, there's like recently in the past, I think maybe like a month ago, maybe or maybe less, like Twitch went through like this like DMCA strike thing. Where like because I mean streamers play music on stream or like some of them react to stuff on stream, and then those are like copyrighted material.
Uh-huh.
So like so like the owners are here to like to strike you essentially. So you broke the DMCA laws and stuff. So it's interesting because like because technically speaking like for a lot of games you're not actually allowed to like broadcast the games out, but obviously the in those cases the creators of the games actually do want you to play because it's like free exposure.
Yeah.
wasn't there a thing where it's like there was a discussion about whether or not your gameplay belongs to you?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That
Because
was
like
the thing.
technically
It's someone else's game,
like
but
right.
you're doing the inputs, right? It's like if you
Right.
buy a violin and then you play a song on the violin, they don't own that song.
Well, it's not but I guess it depends on like what specific thing you're doing. Like if you're playing like a very story-based game and then you're streaming to, you know, like a lot of people, potentially like I'm not saying that this is true, but there's one side of the arguments that once they see what the story is and they know the ending, they're not going to go buy the games themselves. In the same
Last
sense
of Us
that-
Part 2.
Like
Yeah,
in the
that's
same
another
sense,
reason.
like if you were to like watch a film and then react to the film, and then your viewers are watching with you, they probably won't then go out and buy a ticket to watch the same film,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
But
yeah.
obviously, I think
if
in
you,
most cases, the developers actually do want you to play it because it's like if it's a free ad essentially, right?
Yeah. It's actually
And then
better
playing
than a free
playing
ad.
a game, right? Exactly, and playing a game and watching a game is like very different, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like a lot of times, like the most, like a lot of games now, like people will only start playing if their favorite creators like are playing. them.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like I know like people who are like even more in tune with like the gaming culture than we are, like they will only start playing games because like their favorite creators like will start,
that's
for
true.
example.
Yeah. But I guess the DMCA strikes were mostly involved around like the music that streamers played during the streams,
Yeah.
and then they were saved in the VODs, and then the DMCA strike essentially striked all of the VODs, but then now I'm pretty sure like I haven't honestly ever since the Twitch Me Too movement I haven't seen that much like Twitch stuff, mostly because a lot of the streamers that I watch no longer stream, but
I don't know.
Rip.
Never really watched.
I don't know if you guys have. Okay, so you haven't, but I assume that the streamers no longer play like music or like commercial music on stream because it's copyrighted now.
I have
it
heard,
was,
like-
but now they're actually watching out.
Yeah, I've heard
This
like
episode.
some of the streamers that I occasionally watch or I watch on YouTube. Like sometimes parts of that will like crop up. I guess like I'll see it as like basically part of the highlights or whatever. But yeah, I've heard like a little bit of rumblings about this kind of stuff, but I don't really like know what kind of implications it really has.
I'm curious what you guys think about like the YouTube kind of went through this phase
Uh-huh.
like a few years back. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys think about it. Where like if you were to react to a thing, like is that transformative content?
I mean, like you said, like if it was a movie, like let's say I uploaded Avengers Endgame, and then I just was like, whoa, when like Cap picks up the hammer and whatever, but then like it's just me on the side, and then you like the point of the video is basically just to show like Avengers Endgame on YouTube. Then no. And I would also argue that a lot of people's reactions aren't substantial enough to be considered transformative. Like, I mean, like, let's be real, you know, like,
I agree.
No, it's true.
XQC sitting on the side with Chad, just being like, whoa, and like something weird when he sees on the internet. It's like, is that really transformative? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah.
if it like for like some of the commentary channels I've seen, like if they go through the video and like refute arguments or like elaborate on things, then I would feel like that's transformative. But you know,
Isn't
there's
that
not
like a. Isn't that like a line that's quite it's quite hard to tell. Like obviously
Yeah.
if you're on either extremes, it's pretty easy. But if you're like towards the middle, it's quite hard to draw the line. Like what is transformative and what's not.
So-
like there was even that one girl in I think the anime community. She was uploading like full episodes of shows, right? And then, I forget her name, and then she
I
basically
don't
put her
remember that.
face in like a corner and was just kind of like watching it. And then like, and then there was like this whole thing of whether or not it was transformative or not. And then like if YouTube would take her down, people were saying that they should take her down. And then some people were just being like, yeah, you just hate her because she's a woman. And then like all that noise just exploded.
So okay, like the person I watch that occasionally does this is like or not even occasionally, like generally, is like Hikaru Nakamura from like
Wait,
chess.
do you still watch him?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't watched him ever since the original chess craze.
Yeah, I still watch him
Chess Meta.
occasionally. Like
Okay.
I'll watch. I don't watch every one of his videos, but I'll watch like maybe like 2 or 3 a week. And so he does a lot of like reaction content. So I would say
Yeah,
that
he does.
I prefer. I would rather watch him watching the video, but I don't think that content is transformative. If that makes any sense.
That's true. I actually agree with that. Like a lot of times, I would watch Asmongold react to like this
Yeah,
an
exactly.
hour-long YouTube video, and then he will like maybe pause a few times throughout to like talk about stuff.
Yeah.
But then overall, you're still watching that video, but you're just
Exactly.
watching it with like the person, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
but
does
like they're
make it
so
more
popular
fun.
that sometimes you get recommended that video before the actual video itself, right? Like,
True.
Yeah, and
But like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I'd rather watch Asmongold watch that
yeah,
than to just watch that itself.
exactly. So
well, maybe
but I
because it
don't
feels
really
like there's a
consider
friend watching it with you.
It's not that. It's just like I like his takes on things are interesting and it's funny, so it like adds to the overall experience.
exactly.
But obviously, it's not enough to say like his contribution is suddenly more than that video that he's
Yeah.
reacting to.
And I would also say that like if I really like that sort of video, like I'll go and like support that channel, right? Because like when I watch the video of Hikaru watching somebody else's video, like I'm not directly supporting the original content, because like they don't see any of the like basic benefits.
Ad money, yeah.
They don't see any of the ad money, or like
I mean-
content increase or like YouTube analytics or anything. So like if I really like the video or like if I like the video, then I'll go and support their channel because like if they actually made good content, then they deserve to like benefit from that, right? Like they shouldn't be robbed of it because I decided to watch it from basically an aggregate source.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's a way to kind of adjust the system for this, because I was just imagining, like, what if someone did a react to, shitposting the lads, and then they got really popular, like I would feel kind of irritated, or like they got made lots of ad money off us,
Yeah.
you know. Like, I mean, that's not gonna happen, but like let's imagine that for a second.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely true. Yeah, it's absolutely
That's
true.
I mean that's exactly the issue with this kind of stuff, right? It's because you
And
don't
it's
support the original
mhm.
creator. It's completely different because or okay, it's different from like a gaming because in gaming, like when you see somebody else play like a game, like in general, what'll happen is like if you really enjoy the game, then you'll go buy it yourself. But like if you watch a video or if you watch like a movie, like you've already watched it on their channel. Like Tiger was talking about this
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
right? So like you're probably not going to go and support the original creator unless like you have the mind to do so. But like in general, people won't do that.
Right.
But I wonder why these React channels get so big. Like the Fine Bros. Right? I remember, I don't watch their stuff anymore, but like I remember back in the day, I'd be like, the kids react, teens react, elders react, blah blah, blah, all that React crap to like other people's stuff basically, and it got huge.
Well, I would say like I don't really know. I can't really talk that much about it, but like when I watch React videos, like Hikaru reacting to other stuff, like the content itself has to be relatively interesting, and then I also like Hikaru's personality, like he's like a relatively interesting person himself, so like that's where it becomes entertaining. But like or like Asmongold, right? Asmongold is also someone who's like very entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like that's where the enjoyment of that kind of content comes from.
Yeah. Also, another thing is I would like to say this because I haven't heard this being said. Because like with the DMCA wave went over Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
it was mostly about the music, and then a lot of streamers were complaining that like they're giving like the artist and then the song free exposure and stuff, so like they shouldn't
No, that's
have to like pay
bullshit.
for it. Which like and then that was like the like overwhelmingly the most like popular opinion to have. And then I would just like to say that's like that's very wrong for a lot of reasons. Because okay, the first one is it kind of just sounds like you want to have free stuff because you're giving them exposure when like radio has to pay the songs that they play.
Yeah.
If you're using it in any other source of media, you have to pay a licensing, right? Like if we want to play a Katy Perry song right now on our podcast, you would have to like pay the licensing fee. But then somehow streamers think that like okay, the free exposure is worth the
Well, I mean, it's also
is the
completely different, right?
compensation.
So like the thing, the comparative, so if you compare it to games, where if you play a
Right.
game, it's going to be the primary, like the big difference between like games and music is that when you play a game, it's going to be the primary reason that you're watching a stream, and
Yeah.
or like it's going to be the primary focus of the stream. So you're actually advertising them, and then that's like free exposure because in that sense, like you are actually like advertising to the viewers like this is like what is like what is or like this is good and like you guys should also play this. But like when it's music, it's only like adding like a small amount to the stream. It's generally not the focus.
Right.
The streamer won't call it out. Like they don't like actually you know uh have it be advertised in any way other than maybe like a small fucking text like font like size 8 text on their in the corner of their screen or whatever. Like there's no way that
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
actually
Yeah.
free exposure because like you don't at all like you're not actually advertising or like
Right.
you're not
And then
advertising it at
there's
all
right.
basically.
And there's also another thing that is like never brought up. It's just like even if we do consider that as like okay, you're giving the artist, you're giving the song more exposure. The truth is like the artist is not the sole owner of that song, and generally speaking, the artist is not even the majority owner of on that song. Usually the artist doesn't actually take that much from like the song royalties itself. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's a lot of people that are getting paid based off of how much that song generates. The producer, the song writers, the label. And then like if you're playing a Drake song and then okay, it makes Drake more slightly more popular, maybe Drake will sell more tickets, but then the mix engineer that worked on that song isn't getting paid what he or she should be, right? And
Okay.
then that's also another thing that like people don't usually think about. They think like, oh, the song is Drake, and then we're making Drake more popular, hence like he should be happy about this. But then the truth is like a lot of um the song royalties pays out to a lot more than just Drake himself. And that's a point that's usually not brought up in this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, because like you could like it always splinters into like ever smaller groups of people who contributed to something.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
like if you watch like a really well edited YouTube video, right, like and they use memes and clips and whatever and stuff, it's like, well, they don't own all of that, but then like I guess you could also make the argument that nobody ever really fully owns anything, right? Because just like everything we do is slightly derivative of what has come before.
Right, but in this case specifically, it would be like, okay, this song writer owns 5% of this song. So like if this song were to generate gets played on the radio, gets used in an ad, gets played in a film, something like that, right? Or like or like if a song is played at a bar, at a club, that the songwriter is earning 5% of the license or the fees that it's generating. But if it's getting 0 from Twitch, it's essentially losing that, right? And then even even though you're boosting the popularity of the artist or the song by a little bit, that's not enough to that's not enough monetary compensation to that like 5%.
Yeah, so
And
I mean,
then
it would be the
right.
equivalent basically of like, okay, so when you're watching a reaction video on YouTube or something, and like that, the original creator basically has an editor, right? But the editor, like the original creator,
Right,
is getting
yeah, exactly.
exposure for like that video maybe, but the person who's getting some of that money, like the editor who's getting paid based on the YouTube like analytics, they don't see any of
Yeah,
the exposure because like
exactly,
the average
exactly.
viewer won't ever know
That's
about the editor.
probably, yeah. That is a very good analogy here, yeah. Yeah.
So that, like
Okay,
then
okay.
it screws those people over way more. Is basically
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Hmm.
It's I'm curious what kind of system could be put in place to solve this type of thing.
Right. I
Because
think
like
I heard a really good one is that
it,
like labels should kind of make a package deal and then to sell that to like Twitch or the streamers.
yeah, and then like be
Yeah.
like, oh, you can include my song in your YouTube video for
Right,
like three
exactly.
cents or something. Like,
Exactly. Because like right now this system is like built for like the old world when like like if TV station wants to use a song, they will have their lawyers talk to your lawyers, and then they'll work out
yeah,
a deal, right? But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, in the age of the internet, not everyone has a lawyer, so that like system doesn't really work. So you're essentially like, if you get caught, you basically just forfeit the AdSense, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you want to pay for the licenses, it's gonna be way more than the video ever. It's gonna be way more than the ads are ever gonna generate.
Yeah,
So like it doesn't
for sure.
really make any sense to ever buy a license. And then at the same time, because without like the lack of like this like package or like any sort of actual way to earn money from Twitch streams or YouTube videos, right now like essentially the um the owners of the music is forfeiting a lot of money, and then
Yeah.
the creators cannot use it either. So it's like a lose-lose situation right now. And
Yeah.
then we'll see if like it changes, but so far it hasn't, and it's been
I
working
wonder
well.
if there will ever be like another way to monetize online content other than ads.
Well, I mean,
Or like
there's directly supporting like
pay to view.
Patreon. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
pay
Pay
to
to
like,
view,
view.
but like
No, just
Patreon is
kidding.
the other one. Like Patreon is like,
Yeah, Patreon's another one. Yeah, that's true.
and
but
Patreon is the one
you know
that's
what I mean, right? Like the one that doesn't involve directly taking money from your audience. But I'm trying to think of what else. Well, it's a problem beyond me, I think, but be interesting to see because
Yeah, I mean,
I
if
I
you were to
I
come
don't
up with
like ads.
something, it could be revolutionary. So,
yeah. I mean, it's just
but
hard
so
for me to
far,
imagine something other than this. It just doesn't exist, right? So
right? Yeah, because it's like if you're not gonna pay, then like they have to sell something about or like that they get from you, right? And then it's
yeah, which would be an
usually
ad.
right. They sell your information and then to like to sell you an ad essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay, maybe we could revisit this topic because I feel like it's pretty interesting.
Maybe.
yeah.
I mean, if you have a good idea about it, then maybe don't actually
Yeah,
bring
we
this to
start
the
we
guest.
start talking about simping, went all the way to like copyright law, we went to like internet monetization. We're all over the place. All
Yeah.
right, all right. Classic shitposting with the
Monetization.
lads.
I mean,
But
that's the-
Patreon is a very interesting thing, though. Patreon is, yeah.
yeah.
Their
I
ass
think
is getting
Patreon
sued too, dude.
Sorry?
Wait, really?
They're getting sued too. Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
So I
For
mean,
what?
they banned a political commentator
Oh,
and then
I
a
saw
bunch of
that.
his
No, this,
bunch
that
of
was a
his
while
supporters. No,
back.
they're filing arbitrations against it. I mean, and I'm not a lawyer, but like basically, uh, each follower files
I think
of that commentator files individually, so they have to pay like a bunch in like fees, and
really.
it's
Wait,
like enough
Patreon
to.
lost that?
I think it's like still in the process, but like the initial
I
phase
think it's kind of.
is
I
not
feel like
looking like in Patreon's favor.
Really, I think Patreon is in the rights, right? Because Patreon's case is essentially like, okay, this user broke the terms and conditions, so
Yeah.
and then so we're canceling his account, essentially. And
I think
it's a
there's-
private
I mean, I think there's
organization,
dispute
so
on that,
I don't
too.
know. It's a private organization, so I don't know why they wouldn't have the right to do that.
I'm not sure. I think I'm pretty sure it's a developing story, but from what I've heard, basically, is that Patreon could be required to pay a lot in
Really?
arbitration fees to
Interesting.
because each follower of this person counts as its own separate lawsuit with its own fees. So like apparently it's going to be like some astronomical amount. But
Really?
I'll,
Usually,
I'll
this
update
kind of
you
thing,
guys.
they will just
Yeah.
do a file class action, because then
No, because I think it's in Patreon's terms of service that you can't file class action.
So each user has to pay a lawyer to file a suit.
Yeah, but I think
how
it's
is
like
this being-
I think
Okay.
it's like way less than what Patreon has to pay. It's like the numbers I heard flying around was like each person suing Patreon has to pay like 250-ish, but Patreon has to pay like I
Wait,
think
why?
5 to 10,000.
Patreon should just have their own lawyers, right? They don't have to pay another lawyer to deal with it.
I mean, yeah, it's something about the
Understandably,
arbitration fees. I don't
Okay.
know enough, but that's what I've heard.
I don't know if you guys know about Patreon, but it's founded by like a YouTuber, and then it's like this. It's
really?
interesting because I watch his stuff without knowing he was also the founder and CEO of Patreon. He like makes like covers, like song covers on
Oh,
YouTube.
interesting.
So he has like this funk band that like makes covers of popular songs, but like in like the style of funk on YouTube, and then it's like
I
it's pretty
see.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, Patreon is like a genius idea in terms of
Yeah, it's
like
It
for
is
the
pretty
content creators
genius.
because it allows them to
I was
basically
gonna right.
not have
I
to
was
like
gonna s-
bend to YouTube's will. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think it would be a cool idea to like, you know how like in like a lot of Asian countries there's like basically there's like its own version of like basically this Western app but like localized.
Yeah.
So like I feel like you could like bring Patreon to like China or something and then like make a lot of money off of that. It's like the same
probably
idea
could.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as far as I know, it's the like that idea is not a like it's not a widespread thing in China, but like, you know, yeah.
All right, go start your company, Tiger.
Well, it's not me, but like somebody in China has to do it. It's not me, so I can't.
Isn't Singapore basically China?
No.
I mean, it's not, but
All those Asian countries, but
you know, if it was basically China, I wouldn't have to have served 2 years in the military, right? So I guess
Unlucky.
oh well.
unlucky.
Unlucky.
I think let's do the last topic.
Sure.
Tiger, GMs.
Oh, okay. So, honestly, I'm not that familiar with the whole situation, but this is like a recent thing. So, it's coming up because of like the overall COVID situation and how money is tight, essentially.
Yeah.
And then essentially a lot of the GMs, and then if you don't know what GM is, they're basically it stands for Game Master. And then essentially what they do is that they deal with like in-game issues and then in real time with players to like resolve whatever issue you have. So in a sense, they're kind of like video game versions of like customer support, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. And then so basically I think this the whole catalyst is that a lot of like competitor companies are giving like raises to accommodate with the rising,
Yeah.
the rising costs of living, and then but then the Blizzard GMs got stuff like basically points to like spend inside the Blizzard store, so then you can like buy like Blizzard stuff, and then
ridiculous.
and then yeah, I know, and then this like became a whole thing because a lot of
Literally
like this
store
information got
credit.
leaked. Yeah, exactly. They were like, thanks for doing this. We give you this honor points to like redeem like wild time or something, and then essentially this whole thing got like leaked out on Twitter or something, and then it became a big discussion because at the same time, Blizzard CEO took in $40 million this
Cancel
year, right?
Blizzard.
And then, right, it's like the stock prices are rising, the executives are getting paid, but like your GMs literally are being, are having trouble like actually living off of the wages. And then some other things like yeah, and then but then the other side of me is kind of like that's kind of just like how the market works, right? Unfortunately.
Well,
But at the same
unfortunately,
time,
it's
it's
not
pretty.
really like a good way to put it, because like ultimately, like what you need for this kind of stuff to stop happening is like you need to have something where you tell them like, okay, this is not right, this is like clearly fucked up, you have to like pay your workers for like the work they're doing.
Yeah.
So like,
Right.
yeah, it's wrong now, but like we basically need to tell them like, okay, it's wrong, and then there needs to be a change that happens, and then like, in like 2 or 3 years or whatever, we can look back and be like, okay, well, we helped these guys by like Blizzard is now paying their fucking employees or whatever.
Right, exactly. So it's yeah, I mean it's a big thing because it's almost like you would like never expect it to be a thing where like like Blizzard gives, because it's one thing if like Walmart pays their employees in like Walmart credits, because at least you can like exchange it with like actual things, but like Blizzard sells video games on the internet. Like, I
So
mean,
bad.
Dude,
look,
get those
that's
spicy
next
Overwatch
level.
skins.
It's yeah. I mean, look,
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's
crazy.
literally crazy.
That's literally what
It's like food.
like,
Food. Fuck that, dude. Just
yeah,
new
instead of
Overwatch
giving
skins.
you like it's I mean it's pretty crazy. This is the
I mean, it's just like what you're like. I don't know, because I actually came across something relatively similar to this in like a few months ago or whatever, or maybe not a few months ago, like a month ago or whatever. There's like a video talking about like how anime subtitlers and translators are like not at all getting paid. They get paid basically like $60 for an episode, and like translating an episode could take like up to like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours, like doing research, even for like the professionals, and like they're getting paid for like literally fucking peanuts worth of money. It's just like the reason is because like they don't really they didn't really say anything about it, and like they're just like compliant, and like Crunchyroll doesn't pay them even though they're like a successful company and they've been expanding and everything. They don't pay their fucking employees.
damn.
So it's just like you have to like say something about this shit, because otherwise it's gonna keep going, right?
Oh, actually, about this, you guys know how Airbnb is kind of failing now, right?
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, not
because of
surprising, I guess.
right,
Because
not
of COVID.
surprising because of the COVID, right? And then basically most like I think like revenue went down by like 90% or something.
Yeah, because
And
nobody
then
could travel.
Damn.
Right. And then the thing is like Airbnb was supposed to go public this year. It was like
Oh,
they were
shit.
planning on doing that. And then they were paying a lot of their employees, like not
In
just
shares.
right, exactly. They're paying their engineers all of that in terms of like stock options,
Yeah.
which if they do go public,
Public would be a lot of
they'll
money.
make bank essentially. Exactly.
Yeah.
They would have been paid more than if they were have been collecting, like cash the whole time.
Yeah.
But then obviously with the current situation, Airbnb is basically going under now, and they're definitely not going to go public. So it's like it's
Damn.
interesting because like a lot of people are getting screwed.
Well, I mean,
with this.
that situation is a little different, right? Because like,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it
not
doesn't have a lot
really
of freight.
Airbnb's fault.
Yeah,
And then
Right, I know,
it's,
but
it's
it's
typical
like-
for
it's
these tech
similar.
startups to pay in stock options too.
Right,
Yeah.
but I guess it's similar, right? Because it's like, well,
I mean,
it's
they're
not.
getting-
It's some. Right. Yeah.
they're getting screwed because of like COVID, right? Like, I mean, we
Right,
probably
yeah.
will come to the point where like Airbnb will probably become a public company at some point, right? Like, they're probably going to recover. This is not something that's like we have faith that they're going to go bankrupt.
I don't know. Or well, like,
You really
they
think
probably
that this is
won't
going to be
recover-
like unrecoverable?
well, it's not that, but like, there's also been new legislation because in a lot of countries in the EU that to like essentially ban Airbnb because the current thing is like it makes it more lucrative to like keep your houses as Airbnb instead of like having a tenant. So like a lot of times
Okay.
in cities you'll just have a bunch of like empty houses, and
Oh, I see.
then it's essentially pricing out the locals to actually live in the cities.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then they don't have to abide by a lot of the regulations that like hotels and like hostels have to abide to. So it's like, yeah, it's like a gray area. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be just so unlucky. I mean, I think we're
Yeah,
like
that'd be so
uniquely in
unlucky,
like a relatively good position because like we're probably getting the fucked like the least out of like most people. Like people who are
Well,
like
debatably, I'm being fucked
Okay,
even
okay.
less because I'm going to college this year.
yeah,
So,
but like basically the
sense.
people who are like, you know, people who are currently in high school, like this year, if this is your senior year in high school,
Okay,
Like-
that's what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, but like, or like if you're in the workforce or whatever, like those
Right,
type
I feel
of
like
people.
if you're graduating now, that's like the tough
Yeah,
thing.
if you're
It's like,
graduating
right.
now for either high school or college, really, but like it would basically like be fucking you really hard, right? But like we're in a position where like we kind of have like a stable life and we don't have to like worry that much about like COVID that much. Like obviously it's
Right.
gonna affect us, but like the things that we complain about, like about, you know, not being able to go back to school and like the clubs and stuff shutting down and having to pay like, you know, full tuition and stuff is like completely different from like fucking your
yeah.
entire life, like one of those Airbnb
Yeah.
workers, right? Or like if
Exactly,
if
exactly.
you're getting paid in shares and you just lost all your money, that would just be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's pretty harsh. Or like if you're graduating now and then you know
you just
can't-
don't get a job. Yeah.
you just don't get a job. I heard. Wait, were you guys collecting? Since you guys are Americans, were you guys collecting the government checks?
No, I don't
Um,
file taxes independently, so I don't.
Yeah, I didn't
okay.
get a check.
See, I heard the basically the stimulus packages are ending. Ended on the 31st of July.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if they're
some
gonna.
news that they were trying to sign a new bill for more stuff.
Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Yes, that is what I heard, yeah.
Say, like,
Yeah,
people
I saw
are
it on the
gonna
news the other day.
be out of money very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, because America is like dealing with Corona very, very badly. So,
Right.
like you should like I would expect that Corona will continue in the U.S. for at least like another few months, like probably until the end of the year at the very earliest.
I feel like
so-
it's gonna be more, right?
It could be.
Like that.
It could very well be longer.
I mean,
but-
I would obviously hope that it ends tomorrow. For a lot of
Yeah.
reasons.
I mean,
feel
I
like-
would hope that it ends, but realistically speaking, it's probably going to be at least until the end of the year and maybe further into next year. So, like, people just aren't taking it very seriously. It's just like. the
Did you
fact of the
guys
matter.
see there was a report that like apparently the U.S. economy shrank by like 9% in like 4 months?
Yeah. It was.
That's like
something
pretty
that.
crazy. That's like very crazy. I feel like because like I feel like the
Yeah.
GDP growth year to year is like what, like 5-6%? No, it's less. I don't know.
It's
2 or
like
3,
2%.
right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if it was 2 or
3%.
3, if it was 2 or 3, then 9% was like 3 years of growth gone in like 4 months.
Yeah, I think the report was something like if we continue at the current rate, then the economy will shrink by 40% for a yearly
Oh my God.
basis.
I mean,
Like,
isn't unemployment
for
nearing
1
like
year.
Great Depression levels anyway?
Yeah.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah,
slightly different, but yeah, like because this one is like it's obviously because of certain, like it's expected, right? Because like certain, like a lot of industries just cannot function as they're supposed to. But yeah, it is like pretty fucked up, and we'll see how stuff is. Like there are definitely things that are like there's still industries that are on the uptrend, even through COVID, right? Or
Like
even
the video
because
game
of COVID.
industry.
Yeah, like the video game industry. So
Apparently, like Nintendo experienced like record growth or something.
oh really?
Yeah.
Dude, Animal Crossing. Yeah, everybody's inside playing Animal
Oh.
Crossing.
That's true.
That might be why. Yeah.
Animal Crossing is a huge seller. I mean, Nintendo has been just probably making fuck tons of money in the last like 4 years since like the Switch came out. It's just
Damn.
every game is like a
Yeah.
banger for them.
Dude, it's so weird because like I can't say much for Breath of the Wild, but I've played the Pokemon games, and my brother for a while played Animal Crossing for like hours every day, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of see, like, I feel like what goes into those games, like there's like less stuff going into those games compared to like a lot of like the AAA Western counterparts.
Okay, that's not true for Breath of the Wild or
Okay, right, no, but that's what I'm
Odyssey
saying.
or-
Like, it
or
doesn't,
Three
I'm not
Houses.
counting those. Like, the only ones I could say about, because I've seen it firsthand, is Pokemon game and Animal Crossing.
I don't know about
Um,
Animal Crossing because I've never played it or seen people play it, but I mean it's really popular. But like,
Like, I feel like there's more stuff in Stardew Valley than Animal Crossing. But obviously,
okay.
the Animal Crossing has better art and stuff. But like, I feel like
Yeah.
there's like more content inside Stardew than Animal
Maybe.
Crossing. And then Stardew is like, it's an indie game. It's like not even a AAA game.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, but if you compare like Breath of the Wild to like Breath of the Wild is like
Like
the
what?
shining star, right? Because like
Like, what if
you,
we compared,
watch how
like-
much content?
Like,
Like,
compare
to-
that to like Red Dead.
Well, okay,
Um,
to like actually complete like a run of, or like I mean like people have played Breath of the Wild for like hours and hours and hours, but like on top of like everything just looking fucking amazing in the game, there's also just like hours of content. Like there's tons of stuff to do in the game beyond the main story, like any Zelda game really. But like the
Mhm.
main story takes, you know, even like for a normal person probably like 20 30 hours 30 hours maybe to complete, and then on top of that you have like all the side quests and all the other stuff that the like there's a huge amount of replayability in the game, and like that's true for both that game and like so Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is like my favorite Switch game. There's like the normal storyline for a person like it took me around like 55 hours, and most people take around that 50 to 60 hours to complete the game on their first run. But the game has 4 different routes, so if you can easily spend like over 200 hours just playing through like the base game without like even doing like any like without even like repeating content. Like it's basically like the same like you 50 or like 200 hours of content just based off like the base game of like content, and that's not including like, you know, if you want to do like challenge runs or like other like adding
okay.
external stuff to the game. So like
Right.
I mean like 200 hours of content is basically what I would consider like way more than the value of the game, right? So like my bar is like if I spend $1 per hour of content, then I would consider it like basically worth it. And then anything above that is like significantly better. So if I was to
see.
say
Yeah.
200 hours on a game, that's like I'm basically getting like 3 or 4 times the value of the game in
I
my
see.
opinion.
I see. Anyways, I brought that up because like you're like somewhat involved with like, you know, game devs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I brought that up because I feel like a lot of Western games that have to kind of like recoup the loss, like, cause like the $60 price tag doesn't pay for the game enough that they kind of have to recoup that in like microtransactions. And I
Yeah.
think that's like one thing that's like you don't see in Nintendo games, which I think kind of like gives it, you know, it's like fans will like it more essentially. There's like less to
Yeah.
complain about.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, that's why they complain about Pokemon, right? Because Pokemon has DLC now, and then Smash
Right.
is also they have DLC, but actually people in Smash don't really complain about DLC very much. They in general are very like okay with that because they like the amount of content that you get with a new character is like they're very happy to pay that amount. And I think people who play Smash in general are like I talked about like the $1 per hour, but like people who actually play Smash and buy the DLC, they're probably playing the game for way longer than that 1 hour per content. It's like I know people who have spent like over 1,000 hours on Smash, like easily, right? So
Yeah.
they're paying
Right.
like they're getting whatever 60 times the value. So like they don't care that much about paying a little bit extra. But yeah, in general, I agree. Like Nintendo games don't really have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. What do you think about that then? Like producing a game, then like knowing that you can't really pay for the game based, with just the sales, so you kind of have to put in like loot boxes and extra DLCs.
I think like in general, the loot box system is very good because, or not loot box system, but like basically microtransaction system is like a good way of monetizing because what it does is that as long as the game is designed around it in the sense that it doesn't like give you inherent advantages, in which case it's bad game design, right? But like I just mean like to get like cosmetics or whatever, because that means that a small portion of the player base will be paying for basically the rest of the player base, right?
What
So,
about but like what about like games that are like you buy the game and then it's like to unlock this character now pay like
yeah,
more.
I mean that's stupid, right? I just think like that's why I talk about like giving a fair
Okay.
advantage or whatever. But like I mean like if you do it like League is free technically, but people pay money for like skins and stuff, and it's like okay in League it's more like a lot of people will pay for that kind of stuff, but like it's like a smaller percentage of the player base. It's you don't get an inherent advantage at all for like paying money, right? But
Right.
you like the way that they monetize is not everybody has to pay money, and same with like same with fun. There's like a lot of games out there like gacha games and stuff like that where
Right.
it's not everybody paying for the game, but they're monetizing it based off like a significantly small portion of the player base is paying for like the vast majority of the money that they're making.
I'm curious what do you guys think about like random like loot boxes? Because like also Skylar, because Skylar plays Overwatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like it infamously has a lot of loot boxes in that game. I'm curious what you guys think about it. Like, is that like a healthy thing to have in like games, like especially like when a lot of kids are playing?
For free to play, I think it's fine. I mean, I think as long as they take out the gambling aspect, where they
But
just
like
make,
loot
oh,
boxes
you want
are
the skin, yeah.
are
Because I mean,
are-
loot,
Mhm.
because I mean, I consider loot boxes to be a form of gambling,
Yeah, right.
similar to like gacha. So as long as they make it just be like, I wouldn't feel so bad if they just set hard prices for everything. They'd just be like, all right, you want this rare epic skin, $10,
Yeah, exactly.
$50,
Actually,
$20.
that's like the
whatever.
way that League used to do it. No, I believe
Yeah.
League still does that, right? But I guess for like
They
in
also
Overwatch,
have-
you would have to like buy the loot boxes, right? Or not. Actually, I'm not
Can
too
you
sure
buy the
about
skins
Overwatch.
with just currency? Like, let's go there.
So like some of the summertime events, you can only buy during when they rerun the summer event with credits. I play enough where I basically have enough credits to buy any skin I want with like in-game currency.
Oh damn.
But yeah, so like
Wait, so you can
it
get
doesn't
skins
affect me
without like
much.
without loot boxes,
without
right? So,
without
like,
the loot boxes.
Yeah, I mean like there are a few I want that are like exclusive to a different kind of currency that you need to pay for, or like watch Overwatch League.
Okay.
And I don't do that, so I miss out on those things. But yeah, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, yeah. Now I'm
Yeah,
still
so-
talking about Overwatch. Like,
Yeah.
League
like
is
Overwatch
like
has so many issues, dude.
okay. I mean, you know, like Tiger, or sorry, not Tiger. Thomas and like Alex and those guys have been playing a lot of Overwatch. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Wait, who?
I mean, Thomas like Fitzy, and then Alex like Alex Troy, Zach, Trey, those guys, Randy. They've all been playing a lot of Overwatch. So
Yo,
I think like games. I feel like
you should.
like
you could
I
hit
generally
them.
don't like government doing things, but I feel like real money currency loot boxes should be banned. Like that's just
Interesting.
because like it's literally just gambling, and then you're
Yeah.
kind of like putting in a kid's game,
Yeah.
and then if a kid cannot walk into a casino to do it, then they shouldn't be able to log on
That's true.
to a game to do it.
Yeah,
No.
I mean that kind of stuff is also like vastly more
Right, but I'm talking about
more
like real
profitable.
currency. Right,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Because it kind of
But that's
feeds
exactly-
off of whales and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, it's just not a good thing, I think.
And it's not just kids. I think it just develops unhealthy kind of.
Right.
Because I know,
right.
like, as somebody who has played gacha games, like quite a few gacha games, like I don't personally spend money on that kind of stuff, but I know people who do, right? And I know a lot of people who do. And like some of my closer friends are like whales basically, and they spend a lot of money. And it's like, even
Yeah.
if you're like an adult who has like a stable job and stuff, it's like, it's just clearly not healthy behavior, like to do some of this stuff, because like you're throwing away just your paycheck and like your entire paycheck and everything. And
Right.
like,
But I
this
think
is just like,
to me it's. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, it's even worse for kids, right? But
Right. To
but,
me,
like,
it's just
for
like
adults,
it's the
it's
kids
also,
part.
like, yeah.
Like I generally think you shouldn't legislate what people do with their money, but specifically when it comes to like kids and like kids being on the game, I think you can't have you can't like you like in the current kind of like landscape, it's almost like you're encouraging kids to like gamble. And
Yeah,
then
because you get way
yeah,
more money. Like
right.
like
Especially
we
like
used to have a hard system, but like now that they have loot box, I'm 100% sure that their loot boxes are probably
Yeah.
making them way more money than their like actual store.
right. And then at least when I was in like middle school and high school, I remember, or mostly middle school, but like a lot of kids were like very into like CS:GO loot boxes and like the CS:GO like
Yeah.
market. Like they would like try to get a gun and then they would try to like sell that gun for like more, and that's like literally just gambling. So
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if the loot
It's like-
boxes are done with in-game currency, then it's not
right, yeah,
that big an
that's what I'm
issue.
saying.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if it's real currency loot boxes, like if you can buy the loot box with like your dollars,
Yeah.
then it's bad. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I mean, ultimately, it will have to be for the government to step in or some
Yeah.
other regulation, because like there's no way for us to tell them to like
Yeah,
stop, right? Because
yeah.
like they're making way more money off that kind of stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll see when. I mean, I'm sure the government will eventually, do something about it, but it might just be too late by then.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of we'll sees this episode, right?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Come back
Oh,
next
no.
time. Next
Oh my
episode. Come back
Yeah,
next
our
episode.
fucking 15 viewers. I'm surprised we're
But
even
I'm
getting
curious.
15 viewers. Okay.
I'm curious if Skylar's gonna go back to sleep after this.
No, I have more crap to do. I have like meetings with some of my clubs and stuff.
No, actually, we should wrap this up. I actually need to do
Yeah.
meeting soon as well.
Yeah.
We should.
Okay,
we also
so-
should because it's like we're way over time.
Dude,